eyesight cleansing. And there's a lot of people that are following me when it comes to social media. There's people that interact with me from a pastor member relationship. And I've been doing magic ever since I was a child. And I'm 52 years of age, been working for UPS for 30 years. And at 52, it's important to understand true spirituality. Someone will say, "Oh, you're up during the witching hours." This is a part of the spiritual journey that you see spiritual people. What's up, Miranda? Thank you for joining me. Aloha. And this is something, a part of spirituality that's usually behind the scenes. And what's up, Jeremy? Salutations. A lot of times people don't understand the level of the impact that ceremonies conjure have on you, and the necessary things that you have to go through in order to stay clean, to stay healthy. And I think that this, one of the things that I enjoyed, I didn't realize it was a blessing, quite naturally, as a melanated child. Being able to see some of the behind the scenes sickness, some of the behind the scenes trials, how they were handling it. Not when they walked outside and had to face the world, but there's things that go on with every spiritualist, no matter what tradition they are in. And one of the things that I had to come to a conclusion at 52 years old is that I did a lot of wear and tear on my body from my job before, and my job was very demanding. I was a UPS driver, and I still was a pastor. I still was a conjurer. I still was a father. I still was a son. I still was a brother. I was all of these different things at the same time. And when it comes down to spirituality, a lot of us, male or female, get up in this life and do what we feel we have to do in order to make ends meet, to meet the demand that is on our life, whether it's because we have children to take care of, or certain events were happening in your life. And you got to know when to pull to the side of the road. You have to know in life that I need to pull to the side of the road so I can see clearly, so I can think clearly. This whole health thing with me, I've gotten more out of this than I would have thought I would have, because I was a person where there's a will, there's a way, and being a fire sign, I was constantly pushing through things, pushing through circumstances, no matter how I felt. And having that mindset may have gotten me through what I was going through, but not without a consequence. And when it comes to spirituality, it is just not being spiritual. It is being present mentally and emotionally, and being in tune with your body or your temple. Most women are better at that part than men because of their menstrual cycle. But nevertheless, both genders have to be in tune with their bodies. And Since I've been retired, when I started the process going on short-term disability, and that gave me a lot more time to make my decision to fully retire. And when you're doing a rebuilding, it's not that you have all the answers. I think that's a misnomer when it comes down to life and living life and being spiritual. I knew there was something that needed to change. What those changes were at that time, I did not know. I know I had petitioned God, because when I say God, I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy. And so I had petitioned God that I didn't want, at the time I was dealing with my anemia. And I said that I did not want, because I thought it was hereditary. So I asked and petitioned that this anemia would not take my quality of life, that I still want to live a prosperous and happy, content life, and whatever that entailed. So I didn't realize at the time that a lot of my request was going to be in me gaining new information. A part of rebuilding is realizing that when you have the mindset of I got to do what I have to do, and not thinking you're going to change or have to change your patterns or the way that you think, the way that you feel about things. I find myself in this journey of my healing, eating things that I would have never thought I would eat, consume. I thought I always disliked tomatoes. I thought I would never eat beets. There are certain things I never would have thought that I would take my time out in my life to actually rest. I never thought I would be the type of person just sitting down. A part of my recuperation is knowing when to rest. Spirituality is something, what I wanted to share. When it comes down to rituals, rituals are something you do ongoing, continuously. When the excitement of what you're doing, hey, when the excitement of what you're doing or the fascination has died down, the zeal has died down, there's things I have to do that can be annoying. Taking my herbs every day, my vitamins every day, cleansing myself on a day-to-day basis. Those things can get very tedious, very basic, but essential. And when it comes down to a spiritual life, everything is not because you're so excited to do it. It is a part of the regiment, that one, whether a root worker, a conjurer, a mystic, a necromancer, there are certain things that come along with your spiritual journey and the things that you're requesting that you're going to have to do regardless of how you feel that day. I've been up, I've cleansing my head, doing that every day. Even though you know the purpose, you know the why, you know the how, you know all those things, but don't mean you feel like doing it every day. But it got to be done. And even having more time to actually care for myself, because a lot of people say, oh, I want to self-care. Well, you got to have the time. And matter of fact, I will say this: you have to make the time to take care of yourself. Sometimes you got a full day ahead of you, and you still got to get up early to do your prayers, your meditations. Like, when I used to, cause I seen my mom do it, but I seen my grandmother do it a lot when I was staying over her house, and I would, I'm a kid. I'm getting up in the middle of the night trying to get me something to eat, and so her bedroom was near the kitchen, and the light was always on, and I'm like, "What's she up this time of morning?" And I would look, I would peek in her room, and she would be sitting in her chair, and she'd have a Bible open. She'd be praying. I'm like, why she ain't sleep? Because she done been running the store. She done been downtown. She probably took us out of town because maybe that's why I was at her house at the time. But I just, as a child, you don't really realize the pressure and the responsibility of being a spiritual leader or being somebody that's has certain responsibilities. And while I was getting something to snack on, she was in her Bible and praying. And I saw her, and I got what I wanted, and I went back to the room. I should have ate it in the kitchen, but I did, just show the truth. But all of those things, watching my mother get up 4 day in the morning, I had at that time in my life, I had zero understanding. I thought she was doing it because she was a Virgo. No, at that time it wasn't about Virgo. It just everything was that's my mama, that's my daddy, that's my grandma. You know what I'm saying? We label people, and we don't really understand all of the things that are gonna impact our lives because these people are getting up and doing what they got to do. As a spiritual leader, I love to hear the testimonies that my clients, my members, and people that interact with me have. But that comes with a price. The turnarounds, the giving up of your desires, and doing with that time what is necessary, and not a lot of times what you want to be doing at that particular time. And I just realized that it takes a lot. And even though I feel like I made a lot of good decisions, I really do. But it has not made this transition easy. A lot of us feel like because we did what was right in our eyes, or we did what we thought we had to do, does not change the impact that it has on our bodies. Doesn't change the impact on the neglect. When I used to get up and testify that I was making the kind of money that I was making at UPS, but I was eating dollar cookies. I was when I was delivering, long as I had something to drink, and I used to buy those Junior Snaps, and to take care of my kids because I had responsibility, and so all I saw in my life was my mother, my parents making certain sacrifices. So you think that no, you believe. I ain't gonna say think. You believe that's the right thing to do, but a lot of that over those years took a lot of toll on my body to provide them material things. The getting up, arguing and fussing and all those things. You know, y'all, even you when you have a personal life, and people, I think people genuinely understand that. But when you also are a influencer of as a apostle, a pastor, a teacher, or evangelist, or root worker, or conjurer, or mystic, and you have other responsibilities outside of your mundane life, a lot of that pays a toll. And I'm glad that I was already on a health kick. But this time that I've taken away to detox, rid myself of these parasites, all I can do is share knowledge, wisdom, understanding. I'm a Sagittarius. We always extra moon in Aries and rising sign Pisces. But I think that this video, this time of morning, is more important than any of my videos, because it is what happens after you get through praying. This is what happens after you get through sacrificing. This is, the stomach aches. This is where the tears begin to fall. This is where you got time to think about what you've done, who you done it for, and why you were doing it. And at that time, you thought you did that for them or with them for the right reason. And then sometimes when you have these moments in your life when you rebuilding, you saying to yourself, is this even worth it? Was that worth it? And this is the time as a spiritual person, and as you are rebuilding, and rebuilding is more than, sometimes rebuilding is just sitting down and really reevaluating your decisions, your life, how you do things. For years, everything about my life was go, go, go. That's how it was for 30 years. Go, go, go. It has been rebuilding my particular life and changing the trajectory. Like, sometimes you have driven down a road over and over and over, and now you got to find another route. You got to map out another direction. Because to me, talking about it is easy, but making those changes, I had to become more dealing with technology more than I have in my life. I've had to readjust my mindset when it came down to what I needed to do. Just because you know what you got to do, you know it's good for you to do, it don't make it no more easier. But the thing I realize, and I say even to people that watch my life, it's the same energy. You're just doing it, instead of going east, you're going west. Instead of going west, you're going north. Instead of going north, you're going south. But the adjustment, and for me to be a mutable sign, being able to adapt to people, places, and things readily easier than a fixed sign or a cardinal sign. Like, even to do good for myself, I got to constantly be talking to myself, reinforcing why I'm doing it. adjusting myself emotionally, because even in my healing, and I take no credit to of what the Orishas have done for me, the spirits and the ancestors, but even to follow that path, even when you fighting certain illness, fighting certain financial situation, even though you know you got to put something back, a lot of times, I mean, even down to saving money. Sometimes you don't even think you can save money because you're like, I really need this. Take that and do something else with it. But you know that a part of your breakthrough is you becoming more skillful when it comes down to your monies. I think that people see, and no, I take that back. I think people want to show people the the results after they have done all of the work. But what about all of the times that you done had to go to the bathroom sporadically? What about all the times that you weren't near a bathroom and you had to go back to nature? I'm trying to, you know, uh, accidents that happen when it comes down to your cleansing, your stress levels. People could tell you all day long, oh, you need to take some time for yourself. And the person saying, okay, that's true, but where and when and how and who gonna pay for it? You know, I was blessed because I learned how to have more than one stream of income, which makes me think about the people that only have one income. How do you tell somebody with diabetes or have to go to dialysis that they need to take care of themselves when it costs money? How do you tell somebody they need to change their diet and eat more healthy when it costs money? How do you tell somebody that they need to leave a relationship, but it costs money to leave a relationship? How do you tell somebody they need certain types of spiritual work and they got still live? And this is why talking to people or interacting with people that, like the Bible says, we have not a high priest that have not been touched by our infirmities. What that means to me as an individual, and it means more to me now than it did then, was because of what I've been through. I'm able to relate to the process that someone would have to go through. I remember operating in my divine healing gift, and all I had to do is speak a word. But now that I have had to actually go through other types of healing, I have a greater respect for people, Minister Mario, what they were dealing with. And I haven't had to deal with any of these sickness long term. It humbled me, not only physically, economically. When I say I have lived and is living a charmed life, that it took people that were close to me to bring me back to a reality that everybody don't have it like that. He used to always tell me that. Even my family would tell me, but you're going to ignore family. It ain't wise to do it all the time, but I'm being honest. And you know, I have been, I'm going to say blessed, but some people would say very fortunate as a melanated black man. I've known no other life than a magical life. And this is why on my lives, a lot of times you'll hear me say that because I want people to consider that I'm not like you in some instances, that a lot of you are still learning about spirituality, learning about conjure, learning about herbs. And I am too, but I've always had access. I've had really extraordinary teachers. Um, I've had people that actually really, really care about me. And so some of the things that I deal with, I dealt with because of Minister Maria. Because I was dealing with somebody that had to have certain ceremonies done. And my mindset was so incorrect at the time, but I didn't know it. But I was like, I don't need this. I don't need to be crowned. I don't need to be scratched. I'm doing this for you. Not realizing that it was a part of my destiny. The reason I tell on myself, because I want some of you guys to recognize certain mindsets that you have when you feel like you're doing the best for somebody. But that itself got to go rebuild your mind, because that's not the right mindset to have. It really isn't. Even from raising your kids, paying bills, we don't really, especially if you got church influence, a lot of the mindsets of how we heard the word or ministering was very toxic. That's why our relationships had so much trauma. Parents were being told what they needed to do to raise their kids, and they thought they were doing what was right, and it was toxic. Husbands, toxic. And then when you try to, not try, you strive to rebuild your life, even with the advantages that I have, it is still hard. It is time consuming. Even though I have the proper herbs, oh, I got a concoction right on the side of here. I've had to do so many things to put myself in a position to be healthy. I've had to take multiple cleansing, multiple. I've had to fumigate. Every ceremony I've had to do in threes: physically, astrally, and spiritually. It is a understanding that I get how difficult things could be or be perceived when you don't know how your ends are going to be met. One of the things that was very comforting to me mentally is that I knew that God was not a liar. When I say I base things on things that are consistent, I needed to know that the God that I was serving was really all powerful. I needed to know that what I was believing in was actually factual, because there were some things that I was believing in was not factual. It was based on hearsay. And this is why I believe in being a first partaker of anything or any services that I offer. Because I personally know, I can personally gauge of the impact of believing a certain type of way, or actually being around certain people. And sometimes being around certain people can work against you because they don't have the right intention. But also being alone is not good, because you need somebody to talk to. Sometimes somebody that understands. Sometimes there was times that I just needed somebody just to know somebody was there. I didn't need you to do nothing for me. I was going to do it myself. But I needed to know that you were there. I needed to. I have to have friends or somebody that's close to me that I know if I needed some help from you, that you're gonna give it. I needed that reciprocity, whether I needed you to give it to me or not. That was irrelevant. I have to have people that I know that if that's your last 20, I can get it. I need to know that if I don't ever ask you for your last 20, there were certain things mentally, emotionally, that was very, very important to me, essential for me to move forward in my life. The fact that I know that my mom loves me, even though I know we don't see this world the same. I know that I do things that she disapproves of, even though I believe that I am doing what I was chosen and called to do. But I also have a certain level of sympathy for her, because it can't be easy watching your child, because she a Virgo, go through the things I go through, hearing the things that people say about me. That has to hurt on a maternal level that I still can't even fathom, because my kids look to me for their spirituality. I'm actually the matriarch of my family. And so rebuilding is readjusting. Rebuilding is coming to some type of conclusion. Rebuilding is when people don't understand the level of sacrifice. When I was reading in the Bible, when the scripture when Yahshua, Jesus, was on the cross, and he was getting ready to die, give up the ghost, and he told his brother to remove his mother. Even though he had to fulfill the destiny, he understood how crushing to watch your child die. Even though he was the Messiah, even though he had done all these things. And a part of spiritual journey is, Paul said it like this: we die daily. We give up something daily. And I didn't realize, even with my children, that mentally, emotionally, they had to watch me go through, and still watching me go through. And me and my kids do not see eye to eye when it comes to life. You reap what you sow. But it doesn't, I have never said they don't care about me. I think that a lot of times when you're going through things, you're not realizing other people are hurting right along with you. They're hearing, I got nieces and nephews that their relationship is being impacted because of my status in the city with conjure, mysticism. The same thing that people glorify me in the spiritual community is what is used as weapons against my loved ones. And they don't have nothing to do with my journey. But they are being judged, criticized. People hurt right along with you. I'm a Sagittarius. When I say I don't care, actually I'm being honest. But I have loved ones that do care what people are saying, what people are implying, what people are suggesting. To me, it's worth it because of the signs, the wonders, the miracles, the testimony that people have. But there's a lot of suffrage that comes along with this journey. There's a lot of lack of understanding on both parts. This has been, and this is, when I suggest certain things to you guys, one of the reasons that I don't tell people what to do, but I try to emphasize how essential certain things are, because I understand the impact that it's going to have on your life if you are slowful. And when you don't know what you don't know, you can't respond. But my mother was a type of person, she never gave me options. She always told me what to do. Her thing was do as I say, not as I do. And as a Sagittarian, that ain't never, it never rested with me. But that's who was raising me. And one of the things that I try to give people, whether they appreciate it or not, the ability of good judgment, to trust your decision, whether it go left or right, and be a man or woman enough to deal with the consequences of those actions, whether they work for you or against you. Because I feel that if I make a mistake based on what you told me to do, that pill is harder for me to swallow, because it was influenced. Even though I initially made the decision, those were not my thoughts. Those were not my feelings. And a lot of my life, in the earlier part of my life, I made a lot of decisions based off my mother's ideas and her feelings. When you're rebuilding your life, coming out of a family, a controlling family, for a lot of different reasons. It ain't always got to be bad reasons. You know, during the Jim Crow and all this racism, a lot of people made decisions because they felt like you gonna live or die. Um, so I don't want to, and I don't want to come across to anybody that sees this that I felt like certain things were wrong. Now, then I did, but now I realize when you feel like when you not feel when you doing what you got to do because of the cards that you're being dealt, you ain't gonna know whether those are good decisions until after the fact. When I initially started at UPS, it was about being independent of my family, trying to make my own way. It had nothing to do with what was going to be happening in the future. A lot of the decisions that you have made or going to make has a lot to do with other people. And it don't have nothing to do with you. Even though you are making those decisions. Oh, I'm not going to be the mother that my mother was. I'm not going to be a father like my father. I'm not going to be like my auntie. I'm not going to live. All of those ideas, thoughts, and feelings have nothing to do with you as a person, with you as a spirit. They are all determined based off of your perception about what was done, said, or lived. A part of my rebuilding is to be who I am, not as a father, not as a son, not as a spiritualist, but be my person. Because I done been these things, giving out energy through these roles that I played. And now I have to do an internal work on myself, not blaming nobody for my decisions. Whether they took my energy, whatever I gave, and used it for the good or the bad, it's irrelevant. Sometimes when you start rebuilding your life, it's not about blaming nobody. It's about looking at the man or the woman that you are and realizing what is good for us now. Sacrifices that you making now are going to impact your future. I don't care what you practice. I really don't care. You're going to find out down the road it's more about you than the tradition you in. When it says universal law, that means with you or without you, it exists. God is a healer, whether you get healed or not. God is love, whether you get a loving relationship or not. This is why everything is about energy. You can be poor and God is still rich. The principles of the divine, masculine or feminine. How you embrace this energy, how you recreate your realities, you're only doing that for you. Yes, other people will be affected if you do what is good for you. But the moment you keep making this journey about other people, places, and things, now that I'm 52, when I look at young people, oh, they're going to be Scorpio. When I look at young people, I don't need you to be young. I need you to take advantage of my foresight. When I look at people that have not traveled the path that I have, that I'm on, I don't need you to do it like I do it. I need you to have a more clear understanding what this path or this road is gonna be like. So many people hear my knowledge, my wisdom, my understanding, and the intention is not to change you. The intention is to make you more who you really are. For you to share. What's so beautiful about this healing, that because we are serpentile, we can regenerate genes, organisms. The Western culture does not believe like the Eastern culture. We understand through the Eastern teachings that anything can be healed, anything can be restored, anything can be reassembled. I don't want people to look at what I'm doing not because he can manifest money, or he can manifest my healing, or he can reconcile me and my husband, or he can get my life back in order. Learn from me. Understand why I do what I do. And I'm a person that loves magic. And I still get tired. Some of you don't understand the importance or conveying to people the importance that you only have so much time. If you don't understand or have an idea what is coming down the pipeline, you don't know why it's so urgent for you to have certain tools up on your belt. If you go in most buildings have what they call exit signs. But they also have an emergency exit. That this pathway is for emergency only. If you don't have an emergency, then you need to exit the building this way. But if there's some unforeseen situations, this is for emergency exiting. Okay? And a lot of times I think people hear me, but they're not listening to me. What I say makes sense. But if you knew what you were going to be up against yesterday, you would have got certain things done. I have never been known from a person to get on social media and talk rubbish. If I'm talking about something, it's important. I don't think black people, melanated people have any more time for people to be out here talking about garbage. Who don't like them, who this. We don't have time for that. Winter is coming, children. And you need to be as far along in your process or your evolution or your healing. And let me say this. I don't care how much you say you believe in God. I'm not here to challenge your belief, but I am here to challenge your facts. You cannot believe in divine healing or the herbs when you've always had physician care. Whether it worked for you or not, you've always gone to the hospital. How are you going to all of a sudden be able to operate through holistic living when you never had to do it fully? When you always say, I take these herbs with my medicine. How do you know? How do you know what cayenne pepper can really do when cayenne pepper is not your salvation? How do you know what hyssop can really do when hyssop is not your salvation? How do you know what a crystal shungite can do when it's not your salvation? It's your, I'ma try this. I'ma see if this works. That's how you do your religion. That's how you do everything. You don't really know what copper can do because you're not leaning on the facts that exist around copper. And so therefore you don't have the confidence because you don't test it like that. I can talk about anything that I offer because it has been tested. It has been proven over and over again. If this is not a lifestyle, then how can you have adequate security in it? When I talk about parasites, when I talk about signals, and I know people don't think I'm crazy, but the way people move, I think they're crazy. When I tell you that the health system is going to collapse, offices are going to be closed because more melanated people are going to go back to the natural ways of living with nature, and that melanated people are the predominant financier of this country. None of this stuff would exist without the dollars or the currency or the energy of melanated people. We supply everybody's lifestyle. From the cars, the houses, you name it. Everything exists off of the back solely of melanated people. And that's why it's such a concerted effort to keep melanated black people down. Because by us going inside of ourselves, we began to enrich ourselves. Therefore, we don't need other people. The more they keep you dependent on their ways of life, the more that they can maintain their ways of life. I'm not talking about doing magic without results. I'm not talking about using herbs without results. My point is, even on social media, I can't do it more than the average person because I'm a church. So based on my faith beliefs, I can talk about healing and all these things. But a lot of people that don't have minister license and all this other stuff, they can't use the word cure because the medical industry owns the word disease. And you can be sued for practicing medicine without a license. That's all parasitic behavior. trying to make you pay for something nature gives you for free. You will only respect my magic when you understand what it takes to rebuild yourself, to reinvent yourself. Everything looks like the same when you have the same mindset. Everybody not trying to get over on you. Everybody's not trying to take advantage of you. Everybody that ain't lying to you. And if you believe that, you're parasitic in your thinking. If you feel that way, you're parasitic in your emotional state. You need to be cleansed. How can you see clearly until the rain is gone? You're not doing this for Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. You're doing this for the real you, the higher version of yourself. It's some days I'm happy, and some days I'm just infuriated at what has happened to our people. And some of y'all don't even realize the war that I have to fight for my own liberty that God has given me in the ATRs. I got to be disliked without a reason by church folk. I got to be disliked by the spiritual community because I'm in the church. Just like in life, you might not want to be the bus driver, but somebody got to drive the bus. You might not want to be the garbage man or lady, but somebody got to pick up the trash. You're not going to be who I am in the church world. I'm the threshold between those that don't want to lead the church but want to practice the HR. And I'm also the threshold for those who have left the church, but they got a tremendous amount of church influence. And so therefore, I also offer medicine to those people. And I got to stand in between life and death, just like my Fedifum Oya. When you're a threshold vessel, it's always damn if you do and damn if you don't. Because you ain't going to satisfy the people that's still in the church, and you ain't going to satisfy the people that have left the church. And everybody telling some type of truth. But this is my role to play. This is why I tell people, if you left church, you probably left church for a good reason. But I remind them that what you learned, that you practice in the ATR, you didn't learn that from the ATR. You learned that from the church. Magic is magic. Conjure is conjure. Energy is energy. Frequency is frequency. Just because I go to an Asian restaurant, don't mean that ain't chicken. Because they turned it into orange chicken. Teriyaki chicken. That's your culture. That's your seasoning. You didn't change magic because you are in Ifa or voodoo or Santeria. You ain't changed magic. Magic has always been energy, frequency, and vibration. How you utilize it and how your people utilize it is what makes and coins it y'all particular culture. But you don't own magic. To own magic is to own God. And to own God is not, it makes him or her not a God. We could not be children of God if we own God. This is why I teach like I teach. I have to have make money. How am I going to clean? Why would it be okay for you to not carry your own financial responsibility so I can be cleansed and keep myself healthy in order for you to get it necessary information? Somebody got to go on the altar, and you ain't doing it. So if I get on the altar and go through everything I'm going through, the least that you can do is contribute a support. This is what I look at, and it's like coming up in the house. And this ain't everybody's testimony, but majority. You get to learn how to run your parents' house for free. You get to determine. I was talking to my cousin about this. Because of what you saw, you had an opportunity to decide whether you wanted to continue in that way or do something different. But somebody was paying the cost for you to sit back and observe what you observed. They were paying the way, they were making the sacrifices, male or female, grandparents or what. So you could come up with a conclusion for your own life, what you want to be or not to be. But somebody still sacrificed. I don't care if they were drunk. I don't care if they were a drug head. I don't care if they were a doctor or lawyer. Somebody was making space, whether it was toxic or healthy. It doesn't matter. They were doing something you can do for yourself. And you had the opportunity to start acquiring tools. You can say spiritual or natural. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to keep allowing you to treat me like this. Whatever the condition is. Some of us have lived our life running from where we come from. You might be living in a whole nother country, but you still running. You can't run from you. You can be living in a castle. All your family are bums, drug heads, and you still are attached to them. You wait in Scotland by the Loch Ness Monster in your castle, and you steal some can of Junebug. Junebug shooting needles, getting high, and y'all ain't no less than first cousin. You can't run from you. Your family tree is your family tree. Grow up, deal with it. Learn those energies so you can learn how to navigate. Some of y'all got so much problem with your bloodline family, but you can't even move forward in your spirituality without your eggums. When I was going through my crowning, my dad's spirit showed up. My grandma, different ones were showing up. My mother's spirit was the only one that hadn't showed up. And my padrino them kept asking, was she dead? I said, no, she living. But I didn't explain because I didn't feel like I had to. I'm very private about my family business. So, but I knew why she was hesitant. I didn't know if she was going to do it or not. But I couldn't proceed without her blessing. We continue on other aspects of the ceremony. And my mother spirit came in and she blessed me. I would not be where I am without her blessing. That's how important your evolution is. She was upset because she couldn't block me. And the reason she couldn't block me is because of what her mother blessed me. And she couldn't override her mother. I'm trying to talk to somebody. You got so many problems. And none of us, nobody, I don't care how great you think their life is, we ain't got issue with our family. That's life. But when it comes to magic, that's life. That's your lifeline. That's who gonna stand up for you if nobody. Cause even though I talk about my grandmother a lot, my mother living, mess with me in a way, you will see another side of that Virgo. When it comes to me and my sister, my mother talked to me. I'm 52 years old. My mother talks like me and my sister is still in crib. Don't ever get it twisted. That Virgo, her moon is in Aries, just like mine. You ain't seen nothing. You think I'm hell on wheels. Because people do things and say things, don't ever forget. You came through that bloodline for a reason. Because you ain't taking out time to figure out why. It don't have to be. I'm not the first grand. I'm not the favorite in the family. And God still moved for me. It why do you have to be the favorite in the family to be blessed? Why you got to be the one everybody call on to be somebody that is needful? Why you got to be the head at the head of the table and you just can't find a seat at the table? What is going on psychologically that you got to make the main entree, or if you can't make the main entree in the family reunion, you don't want to go? It's something else deeper, emotionally and mentally going on with you. Even though I'm not the favorite in the family, I'm loved by each and every one of my mother's siblings. I'm loved by my dad's people. Not everybody, but the ones that matter, oh, they love me. Everybody in the bloodline, just like in spiritual, every ancestor ain't gonna rock for you. But there are some ones in that family, don't mistreat everybody on your daddy's side or your mama's side. Because some of them people got it for you. And if you spend some time with yourself, you might even find out who got it for you and who you act like on. Because you ain't got genes just on your mama's side or your daddy's side. You made up two people, two entities. I wouldn't be a preacher if it wasn't for my daddy. And my daddy ain't how to go to nobody church. For funerals, weddings. And he came to my church a couple times. And I was shocked by that. My daddy church is on the Fish Creek. My daddy church is in nature, running behind a raccoon. That's his church. And he was closer to God than I was. Because God is nature. So he ain't wrong. I like decor and air conditioning. A nice breeze be nice, but I like a controlled environment. What I'm trying to explain to melanated people, I would I would not get on social media. If I took out the time to talk to you, it's really important. Not only I'm not gonna waste my time, I'm not gonna waste your time. I don't need busy work to look like I'm doing something in ministry. If I'm giving a class, it's very important. You don't have anybody that have ever got a class from me to say that what I was teaching was not relevant. I don't have time to give out misinformation. I don't have time to give out basic information. If the information you can get that you can read in a book for yourself, just like I talk to people about the Bible, at any time you could have read the book and know that your preacher was lying, your pastor was lying, but you didn't care enough about your own soul and your soul salvation to read for yourself. So I don't need to give you information that you already know. I need to build upon the information or give you something that you can actually utilize and implement in your life to turn your life in a direction. I don't get over here and talk about certain things because I don't use them. I keep mentioning that it's the age of Aquarius for a reason. You're not taking advantage of technology. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how you used to do things. If you understood technology, then you will understand telepathy. Everything mimics the spirit world. So if you were really spiritual, you would get on the bandwagon. You would get on the train before you get left. I don't want to get to the point in your life that what I know and what I have the capabilities of doing is no help to you. That's a sad day. That somebody as extraordinary as I am spiritually, that I can't help you. You don't exceeded your time. You have been stubborn to the point that I it's nothing that I can say to you or do for you. This is why I still repeat what my mom said. It's best to have a tool and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's best to have an umbrella and it don't rain than to not have an umbrella and it rain. Keep playing with your life here on earth. That's your business. But I'm rebuilding mine. I'm looking for people that I resonate with. That it's already a hard process to go through without you fighting me tooth and nail. Because you got parasites that's sending out different signals. You slowful in executing what is so well within your means. Sometimes it ain't even about you not having what is needed. The widow had the everything to make the cake. Some of you are on your own time. You're not on moon cycle. You ain't on sun cycle. You on your own cycle. You got your own administration. And it's working against Father Time is working against universal laws. But that's your prerogative. But maybe perhaps it's not about people. Maybe it's just you. And you need a good cleansing. So you can think clearly. So you can fear clearly. Because right now, you too toxic. You ever seen a sick horse that can't run? You ever seen a bull that was sick? Have you ever seen a shark that was sick? Pay attention to nature. They can't. A raccoon. The reason why we say he infected because raccoons don't come out in the daytime unless they sick. When your pattern has changed so much, you sick. You've been infected, whether it's spiritually, on a spiritual level, on an astral level, or a physical level. But you're not acting within your own consciousness. I would have never even thought. I've never had asthma symptoms. I mean, asthma, sinus. But when I've been doing the detox on my crown with oil of oregano, I done elevated to extraterrestrial levels. The frequency and the vibration of my crown and the amount of infection that done come through my nasal and out my mouth. I didn't even know I had that level of parasites in my cranium. This right here. I ain't talking about the rest of this. I've been cleaning. I shouldn't say try. It take a lot. It's disgusting. And I'm not a big man. I'm not an overweight man. I couldn't even imagine. Some of y'all got gut on you and you can't get rid of it. Parasites. I felt something crawling behind my eye. I can see more clearly since I've been on this parasite and annihilation. Because I love killing stuff. So they made me feel bad. It made me feel off kilter. I'm returning the favor. You're not doing this for me. If you can find somebody else that can help you through your spiritual cleanse, by all means, sir and ma'am. But you need to find somebody. I'm not offering this stuff because I'm just trying to find a new way of making money. And I could charge, well, I shouldn't say charge, I'm a church, donate. I can make you pay more money than $100 for my help. Do you realize what my capacity is really? And that I'm allowing you to have access to my energy that you didn't work for, you didn't sacrifice for? It's like telling a mother you're going to pay her for using her body to come to this earth realm. You can't pay her for that. Now you could try and she going to take it, but you will never pay her for her womb. Because you can't pay for stuff like that. You can't pay me really for the knowledge that I'm giving you. The insight, the experience. You can't even pay for this one video. You can't come up with enough money that makes me feel like it was worth it. The evolution of melanated people made me feel like what I'm sharing is worth it. You doing better by you is payment for me feel worth it. Money compensates me for what I got to do to clean myself. Let me tell y'all something. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I don't care if you're an air sign, fixed sign, fixed sign, earth sign, water sign, or fire sign. It's still a challenge. Yes, Apollo. You can always request the classes, even the conjure class. All you gotta do is pay for it, and Sister Monique will send it to you, or I will send it to you. If you, the next class we doing is psychic. Let me say this again. Rebuilding is not easy. I don't want to mislead anybody. All these things and all the things I've been talking about are really needful and essential and are helpful. But it all costs some level of you. And there's times in life that you're not in the space or the place to use the information. But always be doing something along those lines. This parasite journey that I'm on, this is not for those people that start and stop. This is something you're going to be, it's a lifestyle. Because once I get them out of my system, then I got to keep them out of my system. It's just like magic. This is a lifestyle of keeping yourself where you're in control of your own tabernacle. The reason why you see monsters in your dreams is because those parasites are on the astral level, because they've been in your energy so long. Yes, moon. Love say moon in Sagittarius yesterday. And let me tell y'all something. When I say I tribute to Dr. Sebi and his son, we need each other. Everybody contributes something that allows you to get your manifestation. Whether it's an encouragement, whether it's finances, whether it's a word, it can be anything. Technology have allowed us to connect in a way they never would have thought would be utilized. Through technology, especially this app called TikTok and social media, people can intend to use something their way all they want. But when melanin is a part of it, the good gonna outweigh the bad. I would have never had access to certain things. I wouldn't even know they existed. I could have been in search for them all I want, but where to go, who to talk to, where, and synchronicity through social media, things that I needed to know or know about. Just like people would tell me, you just popped up on my FYI page. Y'all know I tear up a word. When it's meant to be, when you need to know what you need to know, how you need to know it, it's going to show itself. And it's going to be obvious. The way that, yes, everybody ain't real. And they don't need to be. Bad bacteria gonna hang out with other bad bacteria. Bad viruses gonna hang out with other. It's still needed. Because if it wasn't for sickness, we wouldn't know God as a healer. If it wasn't for poverty, we wouldn't know God as a God of prosperity. It takes the equal energy of whatever That's why Yahshua said, this man, this boy was not blind because of the sin of the father or the mother, that the glory of God be revealed, that I'm the Messiah, that the blind shall see again. Sometimes things happen in your life, for your life, for you to operate in your gift or to run into somebody that has that gift. It's all connected. Your sickness is connected to the healing. Your frustration is connected to the peace. You got to find a pathway to it. Don't be focused on what you're going through. Be focused on where you need to get to. The man, let me tell you something. This always pondered me. With the man with the that was at the pool of Bethesda. And that always bothered me. How do you get all the way to the pool of Bethesda, the angel stirring the water for your healing of your body, and you still want somebody to overlook their sickness to put you in the water? That's what he told Yahshua. He said, I have no one. If I would, he couldn't have been a Sagittarius. If I had to stop, drop, and roll my disabled ass in that water, if I had to put my head in the water, it said, whoever enter into the water first, I got an ear in that water. Heal me. Some of y'all right at the threshold of your miracle, and you still looking for help. You done made it all the way to the pool of Bethesda. You done made it all the way to the social media website, and you still contemplate. You want somebody to force you to do what you need to do for you. It's something wrong. It's a parasite somewhere. Cause that ain't even rational. You done went all the way to Orlando to Disney World, and you won't go in. You out there looking through the gate. What did you come all this way for? What if you done went through everything you claim you done went through? Now is an opportunity for you to be set free and delivered. Why aren't you taking it? By any means necessary. Why aren't you taking it? It just don't make no sense. I'm not going to come this close to my threshold for my healing and just drop it. I don't care what your zodiac sign, that don't make no sense. It does not compute. Ain't nothing I got going on is worth more than me. If I can make a mortgage note for a house, if I can make a car note for a car, if I can take care of everybody in Calhoun, Texas, to make sure they're all right, what's wrong with me redirecting that energy? Because I have need. Houston is in trouble. And why can't I do what I do for everything else? People, places, and things. And now I need to be rescued. Why I can't save myself? That just don't make no sense to me. You will be present for everybody else, everything else. My job at UPS, much as I love it, it was not worth my life. I ain't stopped working because I couldn't work. I had got in trouble in my body, and I was going to be here for me. And I couldn't get the time trying to be there for a truck and a packages. I needed to take care of this package. Sometimes you got to make a decision. And if you don't value yourself enough, you're never gonna make those appropriate decisions. You will die on the job. You will die in a relationship. You will die with them same problems in your family. You will die uh, trying to take them same meds. Oh, I'm gonna do what my doctor say. Let me say you something, and I'm gonna say this, and I ain't trying to offend nobody, but I'm gonna say this. Medical people are the only profession that they can have the lowest success rate for wellness and health and still keep their job. A medicine man or a medicine woman or spiritually could not have that low of approval rating or turnout. And people still say you're a good spiritualist. The doctor can give you wrong diagnosis over and over, and you will still sit up in the doctor's office. But a spiritual man could not be that inaccurate with your readings, and you'll still go back to them. I just want you to see the psychosis behind melanated people. A doctor can give you the wrong medicine over and over and over and cause you more problems, and you'll still be with that. And when I say you can go to another doctor, they're going to do the same thing. But you would not take potions and talismans and spiritual fetishes for somebody, and you never got better. And you will continue to go to that person. Why you? I need you to really think about that. You can go to a financial advisor and they keep making you lose money after money after money. But if you were going to a root worker or conjurer and you weren't getting better financially, you will stop going. Some of y'all done put down practices because you weren't seeing no results, but you ain't put down your dollars. You ain't put down nothing that a non-melanated people got here for you, and there ain't nothing ever have been designed for the well-being of melanated people. But you will support and finance and stand behind there. And instead of be running around here talking about Black Power and Wakanda forever. I just need you to think about that. You ain't got to change your mind. You ain't got to change your direction. I just want you to think about the mental place you got to be. I appreciate y'all being here up with me this time of morning. I got to get back on my cleansing. Love says kind of insane. It ain't kind of insane. It's nuts. It's nuts. When people can historically, with analytics, prove that Black people are the biggest consumer of the economy, when they can say that Black people dollars don't stay in their community only 6 hours, it's 20. Everybody, it's 20. I need y'all to really think about that. That we've been doing that pattern so long that they got a analysis sheet. People move in our community to make money off of our people. They come up and be able to do better by their own ancestors because of us. No matter what level of society that we are here. 6 hours. And that's the ones that are good. Investing in melanated people is what I believe and I was raised in. Taking care of family is what I believe in, whether it's natural family or spiritual family. I'm always giving or sharing something with my sisters and brothers. Because I be helping you today, you might have to help me, or your kids got to help me tomorrow. It's always going to come back. I seen the wisdom in what my grandmother was doing. I try to teach you that when it comes to our spiritual community. But all you think your job is to take. You cannot lose investing in me because I understand universal laws. Some way, somehow, it's going to come back to you. It has to. It's been doing it for me for 52 years. It was doing for my mama. My mother's still getting residuals from the same people she had to be there for. You know, you don't lose. My spiritual dad told me that. He said, out of all the tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars I done spent in this practice, I done got it all back and some. You can't lose with reciprocity. So what are you afraid of? You investing in you is not a loss. It's not even a. It's not you spending something. You're investing in yourself. What part of this that you don't understand? Win for you. When I was talking to my baby Scorpio, that wasn't about me. That was about her daughter. You can't say you want better for yourself and better for your family, your loved one, when you won't get up and make that initial sacrifice. My grandmother been dead since 1990. My son, my eldest child, was born in 1992. I was watching my son swim in the same pool that my grandmother built for us because she did not want us going back out to the ocean because at that time another child had got drowned. Patrick, he got caught in the undertow. But my son, which I'm not her first grandchild, was swimming in the same pool that she built for the purpose of family. Somebody gonna benefit. That's why it's called a family tree. That's why it's called an ancestral tree. You're gonna get the nutrients. Don't worry about the branches and the leaves and the fruits that are growing at the top of the tree. Everything, that whole tree gets all of that energy. One is developed differently than the other for a purpose. Don't get mad with your siblings for purpose. Play your role. Bud your fruit. Bring forth fruit in due season. And you've done your job for the ancestral tree. The products that I tell y'all about the egg on stick, those are not for my ancestors. Those egg on sticks are prepared by me with my spirits, but they're for your ancestors to strengthen your ancestral line. That's what's so crazy about all of my products. Those are my recipes that I got from my bloodline that you experiencing. But I do it for the culture. I want people to really wake up. Why am I having such a problem with supporting when I actually believe and trust what he's saying? I haven't found what he talk about not one time that's a bunch of junk. I work for a lot of people, and I still try to get y'all stuff in a timely manner. And Minister Mario ain't no longer here to help me. I got lazy people in my church, and not only lazy, I don't trust them with y'all business because they talk too much. But they already know how I feel. They ain't saying nothing behind their back. So, but God give me the strength and give me the help. And in order for me to travel and do the things I'm doing, this is a part of the process. I can't travel if I'm not fully healthy. So how can I help the world and melanated people if I don't go through these processes that I'm going through right now? Because when I come out there and travel, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be delicious. I'm going to be intoxicated. I'm going to be all those things. But I'm going to be healthy. Rebuilding, it takes work. And when I say it's nasty and it's ugly, we are living organisms. If the average person told you and asked you, a male or female, and asked you to let them shit on you, the average person say no. But these parasites is shitting on your brain, your eyes, everything internal. They taking a shit on your organs. How healthy can that be? I don't care if you're a root worker, a conjurer, a mystic, a AJ, or a non-believer. Just think about that. And even if you into human feces, you want to be shit on when you want to be shit on. You don't want somebody to be shitting on you when they feel like it. That's why another reason I'm putting to what's happening on these. I'm up this morning because this is when the parasites do their feeding. 4 days in the morning. They work by the moon. Ain't that a bitch? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm very shocked that some of y'all up this summer morning. And everybody up for different reasons. I used to be up around this time being trifling sexually. Boy, I'm sneaky. But anyway, I'll see y'all a little later on the day. But I hope that some of y'all that came in the middle go back to the beginning. What Miranda, what time? It's 3 a.m. I don't see the time on my phone. What time is it in Hawaii? This is what I look like 4 days in the morning. So if I was to break in your house, you're going to have the time of your life. Woo. So when I be on live throughout the day, oh my God. When I say y'all are faithful, and y'all check for me no matter what time I'm on. But since I'm what I'm gonna try to do is I have clients that are on a different time zone, so I'm gonna once I get through with this, I'm gonna start doing lives at different times. Even on TikTok, I don't want to forsake my people on TikTok, but I can't. TikTok don't allow me to really express myself like I want to. Love says she be out this time in the morning anyway. So this was right on time. So I'm trying to do is I want to do magic and conjure in 4 in the morning around 3 to 6 o'clock, and I want y'all to learn why we do hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, Lakumi, Congo, any of these traditions around this time. So you can see actually the power of setting your day before it gets started. The magical workings that persist before you even clock in. I be taking my herbs when I was in the hospital. They just come in all these times. I still keep. I don't take their medicine, but I take my herbs and my silver and all that around these times. I'm giving these parasites hell. I just went and bought some more for my parasite candles. I went and bought some more oil and that wormwood. If you haven't seen that video, go look at my video about that wormwood. I was gonna do, but I got so tired. But I was gonna do. I'm gonna do it today. A video on the working with sulfur. I told y'all I know so. I've been dealing with magic so long. I know a whole lot of stuff. I'm just getting prepared for the psychic class, so I can really, so I can blow their mind. Ain't nothing wrong with a good blowjob. You take that however you want to take it. I love y'all. I see y'all later on in the morning.